How many times have you found yourself stuck in the middle of an argument, pouring your heart out, trying to explain yourself to someone who, honestly, just doesn't care? You say, "No, that's not what I meant. I meant this." They reply, "Oh, so you hate me? Is that it?" And before you know it, you're typing out a text message long enough to be a novel, just to prove you're a good person. If you see yourself in that picture, then this video is exactly for you. Today, we're skipping the cliches. We're going to dive into two fascinating stories, one about animals in the jungle and one about a lantern maker, to understand why silence is sometimes the most powerful answer you can give. More importantly, I'm going to share a powerful psychological framework used in the West called JADE to help you escape those conversations that drain your energy. If you've ever felt exhausted from having to constantly explain yourself, go ahead and hit that like button right now so I know I'm not alone. And if this is your first time on the channel, hit subscribe so we can get a little wiser together every day. Once upon a time, in a vast forest, there lived a majestic tiger and a donkey who was, well, let's just say a bit stubborn. One beautiful morning, the donkey trotted up to the tiger and said, "Hey tiger, look, the grass is such a beautiful shade of blue, isn't it?" The tiger looked down at the grass beneath his paws, confused, and replied, "No, the grass is green." The donkey stretched his neck out and insisted, "Is there something wrong with your eyes? It is clearly blue." The tiger started getting annoyed. "What is wrong with you? The grass is green. The whole world knows that." A heated argument broke out. The donkey was screaming, the tiger was growling. Finally, to settle the dispute, they decided to go see the lion, the king of the jungle, for a verdict. Before the lion's throne, the donkey knelt down and shouted, "Your Majesty, please give us justice. Is it true that the grass is blue?" The lion looked at the donkey, then at the tiger, and calmly replied, "That is correct. If you believe it is so, then the grass is blue." The donkey was ecstatic, jumping for joy. "See, I told you so. This tiger keeps arguing with me and annoying me. Please, Your Majesty, punish him." The lion nodded. "Very well. The tiger will be punished with 5 years of silence. He is not allowed to speak a single word." The donkey trotted away, gloating, singing loudly through the forest. "The grass is blue! The grass is blue!" The tiger, defeated and resentful, approached the lion and whispered, "Your Majesty, I accept the punishment, but please tell me the truth. What color is the grass really?" The lion replied, "The grass is green." The tiger was stunned. "Then why did you punish me? I spoke the truth." The lion looked deep into the tiger's eyes and said something that might just change how you view life forever. "The punishment has nothing to do with the color of the grass. You are being punished because you are a brave, intelligent creature. Yet you wasted your time arguing with a foolish donkey who doesn't care about the truth, only about being right. And worse, you brought that nonsense here to bother me." You see, the lesson here cuts deep. In life, there are many people who act just like that donkey. They don't care about facts, evidence, or logic. They only want their ego stroked. They just want to be right. When you try to explain things to these people, you aren't communicating. You are punishing yourself. You are wasting your most valuable resources, your time, and your peace of mind. Have any of you met a donkey on social media? You know, the people who scream the earth is flat no matter how much scientific proof you show them? If you have, type a 1 in the comments below so we can share a laugh. But the question remains, why do we, the intelligent tigers, keep diving head first into arguments with donkeys? Why do we have this intense need to explain ourselves? According to modern psychology, this often stems from a mechanism called the fawn response, people-pleasing. This is a trauma response. If you grew up in an environment where you were constantly misunderstood, blamed, or where your feelings weren't validated, you likely developed a habit of over-explaining to feel safe. You think, if I just explain it clearly enough, they'll understand me, they won't be mad, and I'll be safe. But the reality? The more you explain, the more power you give others to judge you. In the US, psychologists often refer to an acronym called JADE to remind us what not to do when facing toxic people or difficult situations. JADE stands for 1. J. Justify. I did this because. 2. A. Argue. No, you're wrong about that. 3. D. Defend. I didn't mean it that way. 4. E. Explain. Offering a laundry list of detailed reasons. When you jade, you are sending a signal that says, I am not confident in my decision, please approve of it. And guess what? People who want to manipulate you will use those very explanations as ammunition to attack you. Sound familiar? If you catch yourself jading in meetings or with family, don't worry. I used to do it too. The important thing is realizing it so you can change. Don't forget to share this video with a friend who needs to hear this. Now, let's move to the second story. This one will show you the beauty of stopping the explanation. In a small village, there was a man named Thomas. Thomas was a gifted lantern maker. His lanterns didn't just shine, they radiated a strange, comforting warmth. But across the street lived a man named Clark, a tax collector who was suspicious and sharp-tongued. Clark went around the village telling everyone that Thomas was a fraud, that his lanterns were overpriced, and that he used low-quality oil. At first, Thomas tried to explain. He talked about the special glass he used, the pure oil he selected. But the more he spoke, the more Clark smirked and twisted his words. Clark would say, "Look at him, he's justifying himself." Only the guilty talk that much. Thomas was heartbroken. That night, he stared at the flame and asked himself, why won't they understand the truth? The next morning, a Zen master passed through the village. Thomas ran to him, poured out his grievances, and asked, "Master, I live honestly, but they keep twisting my words. How do I explain so they understand?" The Zen master looked at Thomas and smiled. "My son, if a blind man insists the sky is green, will your explanations restore his sight?" Thomas shook his head. "No, master." The master patted his shoulder. "Then stop trying to explain color to someone who refuses to see. Let your work be the answer. Silence is not weakness, it is strength wrapped in peace." From that day on, Thomas changed. He stopped jading. He stopped justifying. When Clark mocked him, Thomas just smiled and bowed. When the villagers whispered, Thomas focused on polishing his lanterns, making them brighter and more beautiful. Every night, he hung his finest lantern outside his door. That warm light guided many travelers through the darkness. Gradually, people from other towns came to buy his lanterns, not because of what he said, but because of the light he created. Then, one stormy night, Clark himself got lost in the pitch black. He had no choice but to knock on Thomas's door to buy a lantern. Ashamed, Clark put the money on the table, grumbling under his breath. Thomas didn't make a sarcastic remark. He didn't say, "I told you so." He simply handed him the best lantern and said, This will help you get home safely." That silence and kindness stunned Clark. From then on, no one ever heard Clark badmouth Thomas again. The truth didn't need to scream, it just needed to exist and shine. Thomas's story reminds us of a famous philosophy from Stoicism. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." He even gave a funny example. Sheep don't vomit up the grass to show the shepherd how much they've eaten. They digest it to produce wool and milk. When you stop explaining, you shift from an external locus of control to an internal locus of control. External, you need others to understand you to feel safe. Internal, you know who you are, what you do, and your peace does not depend on someone else's nod of approval. When you stop explaining, you'll find a strange sense of freedom. You no longer have to exhaust yourself playing the defense attorney for your own life. You just need to live, work, and shine like Thomas's lantern. So the next time someone tells you the grass is blue, or judges your career choice or your lifestyle, remember the tiger and the donkey. Remember the JADE method. Don't justify, don't argue, don't defend, don't explain. Just smile and keep walking your path, because your time is meant for those who cherish it, not for convincing those who are determined to misunderstand you. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time listening to these stories. If this video brought you even a little bit of peace, please help me spread the word by hitting share. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next inspiring story. Have you ever been in a donkey and tiger situation? Drop your story in the comments below. I'd love to read and share with you guys. Wishing you a peaceful day, and stop wasting your energy explaining. See you in the next one.